I just got back from visiting Madeira, a Portuguese island off the African coast in the Atlantic, a place that Europeans probably know about, but as an American, I had never heard of Madeira before. The more research I did, the more I was excited to just get here, explore, and shoot a YouTube video, because I love hiking, and it's got a really famous, beautiful Pico to Pico hike in the middle of the island. The north and the south have different microclimates, and it creates really beautiful swirls of clouds and mist and fog. And if you wake up early and get to one of the peaks, you can find yourself above a sea of clouds as the sun comes up over the horizon. So in April of this year, I decided to fly to Madeira to do this Pico to Pico day hike, as well as a road trip around the island, droning, eating, drinking coffee, and just exploring the island. This is going to be a hiking guide and travel itinerary, sharing the locations that I found, the advice that I would give to someone following in my footsteps, and just general advice for filmmakers looking to visit Madeira. I use weatherspark.com to figure out when I want to go on my trips, and I found that April would be a good time to visit Madeira because I would have a little bit of clearer skies, precipitation would be dropping, it would be cool to comfort temperature, and I would be avoiding the crowds that would be going to the beaches and pools later in July and August. I flew from Denver, connected to New York, and landed in Madeira at the Cristiano Ronaldo International Airport, named after one of its famous local Madeirans. And this airport's also very cool because as they expanded the runway, they ran out of space, so they had to build up on these pillars over water, over little hills, and you can actually drive underneath the runway, which is kind of unique. And one of the big decisions I had to make for this trip was to do a through hike or a road trip. A through hike would probably find me landing at the airport, taking a taxi to Funchal to rest, gather supplies, and then take another taxi to the trailhead up here in Porto Moniz, where people usually start a multiple day through hike across the entire island all the way to this easternmost point. Then I would probably take a taxi back to Funchal, where I could fly out or rent a scooter and go to any specific locations that I wanted to visit, mainly because a scooter would be cheaper than a car. It would be easier to navigate the narrow, winding roads, easier to park because it's smaller. But I didn't do any of this because I was worried about the microclimates. I wanted a car to take my time to revisit locations, to shoot and drone if the weather wasn't perfect, and I just wasn't feeling a multiple day through hike. I kind of wanted to stay in hotels and take my time and relax a bit more than sweat it out up and down hills and mountains in the rain. Maybe next time I'll do a through hike across the island. But this time I rented a automatic transmission car because I can't really drive manual, and I think I paid a little extra for it. It was like a $800 rental for the week, and drove directly over to Funchal, where I checked into Next Hotel and just spent the rest of the day walking around and exploring Funchal. I particularly liked the two gardens, the Santa Catarina Park and also the Municipal Garden of Funchal. I found Prima Caju was pretty good for food, Falafala had good Mediterranean food, and my favorite coffee shop was in that area, Maya Coffee Shop. And all of these Google locations are in a list called Madeira. Check in the description below. You can link them and add them to your own Google Maps app. 2 packing essentials for this trip to Madeira were provided by today's sponsor, David's. A bamboo toothbrush paired with travel size sensitive and whitening mint toothpaste helped me keep healthy and minimal. I'm happy to use products that are naturally sourced and derived. This is modern oral care, sustainable packaging, premium ingredients, and elevated performance. Click the link in the description below for a discount to try David's natural toothpaste yourself. Thank you for supporting my videos. So the next morning, I drove into the Valley of the Nuns, which is a really cool area with one hike on my mind, the Pico Grande. I started down here, snaked my way all the way up to the peak. It wasn't too crowded. I think I did 5.6 miles total, 3,000 feet elevation gain, 3 hours of moving time. Summiting Pico Grande was nice because I could see the other peaks that I would be doing later that week, as well as the valley down below. A nice part of this hike was getting back to the trailhead where there was this restaurant where I had meat on a skewer and just relaxed and had coffee after the hike, and then wandered into town where I walked around until I made my way up to the hotel for the night that had a nice viewpoint overlooking the valley, which was especially nice at sunset and a good spot to drone that whole area. My plan was to wake up the next morning and do the Pico de Pico day hike, but it turned out to be super overcast, so when I got up there, it was really bad visibility. I waited a bit in the cafe and at the car, but the weather never really changed, so I decided to just push the hike by a day. I'm really glad I did that because the next morning when I arrived before sunrise, it was much better conditions. So there are a few options depending on how long you want to be out there hiking and where you start and end, and whether you park yourself or get a taxi to the trailhead. I personally wanted to do some extra miles just to see everything that I could, and I knew that I could do it all in one day, so I didn't need to sleep up there or anything. My Pico de Areeiro to Pico Ruivo hike was just under 13 miles out and back, 5,700 feet elevation gain with over 5 hours of moving time. This hike is one of the best day hikes that I've ever done, and it's honestly reason enough to visit Madeira just because of how unique it is, how steep. It's the highest points of the island, so you're above the clouds in the morning, and then the clouds kind of swirl around the mountain peaks. There's a lot of up and down, staircases, some tunnels that people said that you needed head torches for, but I was totally fine just with my iPhone light. I parked at the long-term parking lot and then walked up to this Pico de Areeiro radar site. Most people park in the short-term parking lot here, march over to this radar where they can get good shots of the sun rising, but I decided to just start my day hike along this way as the sun was coming up over the clouds. And this area is very steep on either side. This is the very famous area that you see a lot of photos of. I made quick work of this trail, going through the tunnels, going around these little mountain passes, eventually making it to the hut here where I had coffee and snacks. It's a short hike up to this peak viewpoint, and then most people probably start back to the trailhead at this point, but I continued down to this other parking lot cafe area, had lunch, headed back, and then all the way back to my car. Experienced hikers are definitely going to find it a little crowded and claustrophobic at times. The trail gets narrow, and especially when you have a big group of like 20, 30 people all going at once, you kind of have to wait to the side before you can continue and advance. But like I said, it's a beautiful hike and definitely reason enough to visit Madeira. So most people find themselves going back up for sunrises multiple times during their visit. One part of my routine on this trip was taking Seed's DS1 Daily Symbiotic. This little green travel container makes it really easy to bring along my 2-in-1 capsule and capsule probiotic and prebiotic. These 2 capsules that I take daily provide benefits around gastrointestinal function, skin health, heart health, gut immune function, gut barrier integrity, and micronutrient synthesis. I'm taking my health more seriously than ever before, and this simple, easy routine helps me do so. The refillable glass jar contains your first 30 days supply of DS1 and protects your bacteria from light and moisture. There's no refrigeration necessary, so they're easy to keep around, and after you go through your welcome kit, you can get a new 30-day supply of 60 capsules, sustainably refilled with this packet. You can get 30% off your first month's supply of Seed's DS1 Daily Symbiotic by using code Craig at checkout. Seed is helping me to make more videos and do what I love, so one of the best ways to support me is to support sponsors like Seed. Thank you so much. I finished the hike around 2 or 3 o'clock, so I had time to drive back down to the coast and start my road trip all the way around Madeira. It was very helpful having my Airalo eSIM for Portugal, so I had Google Maps and 5G the whole time for navigation. And I found this main road around Madeira to be very nice and easy to drive with tons of tunnels. All of these gray spots are tunnels, and they usually have a lot of roundabouts dividing the sections. And I eventually made my way over to this Ponta Do Sol area. As an American, it felt very Italian coast vibes to me, with the beach, the fish, the big umbrellas, the cliff jumping locations. It was a nice little spot to stop. I continued all the way to the westernmost point where there's a lighthouse and very dramatic cliffs. It was a great spot to park, rest, and fly the drone. And it definitely was a lot quieter on this side of the island compared to anywhere near Funchal or the Pico de Pico hiking area. I continued along the coast and originally planned on doing this cable car down to the beach, but it was not operational, so I had to skip that and ended the day at Porto Moniz, which is known for its natural swimming pools, but it was April, so a little too cold to swim, and the sea was a bit too intense, so I don't think anyone was swimming. The next morning, I visited this viewpoint of this really unique thin rock on the coast, and then went up inland to the Fanal forest area, which is kind of where the northern microclimate dissipates. So you get some really dramatic fog and clouds rolling up over this forest with like trees facing one direction with grass, and then it just disappears. It's really easy to see this with a drone shot from above. And when I visited late that morning, there was still space in the parking lot and the clouds were really cinematic, so I'm glad I visited. I got to see the cows and listen to the frogs, and I did a 2.5-mile loop around the area and then drove back to the coast. I was excited to visit Seixal. It's a really unique looking town against the coastline. It's almost like fortress looking with the cliffs behind it. I was hoping for backlight because if you put the drone out into the water and then look back, it's a really cool looking scene. But it was a little overcast, it wasn't perfect. So I had lunch and cooked some more meat on a skewer over an open flame with some bread and beer. Had a coffee with a cat. The last viewpoint of the day was in this area, and looking this way was some really dramatic cliffs, and the light was starting to poke out, so I had some daylight. It was really pretty. Just droning along the coast of the north here was very dramatic and cinematic. My hotel for that night was in Machico, down near the beach here. I saw people surfing, so I rented a wetsuit and a board and went out, but the sea was quite angry, so I kind of got my butt kicked surfing in the Machico waves here. The next morning, the plan was to wake up before the sunrise, drive out to do this last hike, but the light was not cooperating. It was just too overcast, so I decided to drive over here to do this Levada hike. And there's these really nice little cafes and houses. I think it's a hotel at the trailhead with some random geese, beautiful flowers, cats, coffee, and the Levada hike. I didn't do the full thing because it was quite overcast, low visibility, but I got the general walking alongside a Levada vibes. So after over 3 miles, I headed back to the coast. This Ponta do Sol Lorenzo was the last hike that I planned on doing in Madeira, and midday it was quite hot, sunny, and crowded. You park here, walk to the trailhead where there are taxis, and just a lot of people. It's a very unique hike out to this point. There's a cafe right around here selling food and drinks, and you can go all the way up to this cliff to get the view out towards the ocean. At the end here is a lighthouse, and if you have a full battery and a drone, you can send it out here to get the shot looking back this way. I was flying with the Mini 3 with the camera struggling to brace against the wind, so there was a little bit of shake on that footage, but I'm glad I got the shot. And it was a bit brown and dead when I visited in April. I'm sure at different months and seasons it might be greener. I had one more day of my trip, so I decided to go up to this golf course, hit some golf balls at the driving range with this hike that I did in the background, and then stay at this hotel near the golf course, which was really nice. It was very bougie and a nice place to relax at the tail end of my trip to do some footage importing and photo editing and video editing as well. The next day I drove to the airport, returned to my car, and flew away from Madeira. I made an ASMR travel and hiking video for YouTube from this trip, shooting on the Sony a7S Mark III, a brand new 20 to 70 millimeter lens with a Rode VideoMic Go 2 microphone with a windscreen on top. Like I said, I was flying with the DJI Mini 3 Pro drone, and I was happy with how the ASMR video turned out. It was a little strange traveling by myself and not doing a through hike, but I'm glad I visited Madeira. It's a truly unique place, and anyone looking to do the main Pico to Pico day hike definitely should visit. It's worth it. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next trip.